Okay, this evening we're going to be talking about different types of radio nets that are used by the ERC. And I would like to thank Holly because most of this training is based on some that she did a number of years ago. And I have used some of her slides. So to begin, as members of the ERC, most of us are familiar with radio nets. ERC operators communicate with one another on regularly scheduled nets several times a week on various bands and frequencies as we are tonight. Please go to slide 2. The definition of an amateur radio net is a group of 3 or more amateur radio operators meeting on a specific frequency for a specific purpose at a specific time. Slide 3. The purpose of ERC nets is to provide a means of emergency communication for priesthood leaders when all other means of normal communication become unavailable. In ERC functions, we hold ward nets, stake nets, regional, and storehouse nets, and the regional will become loosely coordinating council nets, and the storehouse will become multi-coordinating council nets, and then other HF nets and more. So of these different types of nets, let's talk what is used in the emergency response communication organization. Slide 4, please. Most regularly scheduled ERC nets are directed nets, formal nets with strict control of the net control station, or NCS. Every station must receive permission from net control before transmitting or passing traffic. Participants, as well as the NCS, must be disciplined. Stations usually check in with the NCS, wait to be recognized before transmitting, pass traffic through NCS unless given permission otherwise. The goal is to have orderly operations, prevent doubles or interference, and efficient handling of many stations. Our regularly scheduled ward, stake, regional, and storehouse, or coordinating council and multi-coordinating council nets, can also be called practice nets because we practice what we would do in an emergency. Slide 5. A tactical net is also a directed net. It's often called in the case of an emergency and can aid in response, disaster assessment, recovery, search and rescue operations, and also public service events such as marathons or bike rides. Stations often use tactical call signs instead of FCC call signs during operations, such as Aid Station 3 or Race Headquarters. FCC rules still require the operators who will call sign periodically and at the end of communication. Slide 6. Ad hoc nets are impromptu nets, formed to provide communications prior to calling a formal net to deal with a situation. Sometimes that's all that's needed to support a local situation. There may be several small ad hoc nets prior to a more formal net. Ad hoc nets usually operate on pre-planned simplex frequencies listed in ward and stake emergency communication plans. During an ad hoc net, it's important to monitor established net frequencies such as storehouse or coordinating council frequencies. An ad hoc net may develop into a situational awareness net which monitors current events and reports status of the events that may lead to a full emergency response net. Any available unassigned simplex frequency can be used for an ad hoc net. An ad hoc net NCS has the same responsibilities for running this net as for any other net, establishing and maintaining net discipline and documenting traffic. Slide 7. This is KG7INX for ID. In the past, policy stated that the ERC is activated only at the direction of a priesthood leader. However, experience has shown that isn't really effective. The current policy is that any ERC operator may activate an ERC radio net because emergency of any size usually happen very quickly, and it is important to gather information immediately. Slide 8. Keep this in mind also with situational awareness nets. These often happen on the 146.88 repeater during a storm, power outage, or other unexpected event that may affect the safety of people up and down the valley. A situational awareness net is a directed net and operates under the direction of an ERC NCS. Operators report important information regarding the current situation in their location, allowing the NCS and others on frequency to understand the scope and effect of any potential emergency. Priesthood leadership could request information from the net that would help their members. This net may start as an ad hoc net, which could lead to an ERC net. Remember that situational awareness nets are often, if not always, monitored by outside listeners, including commercial media and utilities companies. Slide 9. Subnets are operated like ad hoc nets. ERC subnets could be set up in wards, branches, states, or regions. An ERC net control station might request subnets to be started and staffed as needed to support the NCS. Any group of operators may be asked to change to another frequency to start a subnet. ERC subnets are usually held on pre-planned frequencies within ward and state emergency communications plans. During these nets, it is important to monitor established net frequencies such as storehouse or coordinating council frequencies. In order to do this, a liaison station may be assigned to interface with the main net. Slide 10. There are also digital nets of many different varieties. Digital nets using FLDigi and WinLink are held each week for HF and UHF-VHF. And here are listed some of the nets that we hold each week. Contact any members of the digital team for assistance in getting started. The team consists of Steve, KG7INX, Richard, WB7ML, or Holly, KF7BRO. Slide 11. Some other types of nets include command nets as part of the incident command system used in all disasters and emergencies, closed nets for a specific group of operators and no one else, local or social nets a set time and frequency according to the desires of the net participants, and special nets which are used for special events like bike races or a Boy Scout event. In conclusion, I have a little story to tell that illustrates the final point. Slide 12. A ham is driving up a steep, narrow mountain road, his antennas flopping in the breeze and into the other lane. A young woman is driving down the same road. As they pass each other, the woman narrowly misses the antennas and leans out of the window and yells, "Pig!" The ham immediately leans out of his window and yells, "Crazy driver!" They each continue on their way. As the man rounds the next hairpin curve, he crashes into a huge hog in the middle of the road. Slide 13. Remember, the greatest skill needed by amateur radio operators, especially when participating in a net, is the ability to listen. Slide 14. Are there any questions or comments? If there are no questions or comments, we will return it to net control, KF7BRO.